And we're live. I'm here with Jack Mason. He's the owner, promoter, matchmaker, everything behind CWASE Academy Southeast. Thank you so much for joining me, Jack.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So we're here to talk about CWASE Academy Southeast 35. I can't believe you've done that many shows. How do you feel about that?
I think it's been almost 10 years now since we started doing it. So it's been a long time. It does feel like we're still learning. Still feels like really at the start of something. But it's gone really well. 35 shows is a lot. I'm sure we'll be at 50 pretty soon. So yeah.
It's amazing. There's not that many shows that are going for that long, and you seem to learn something with each one as well, and kind of add something to the next one.
Well, that's it. It's like we're always trying to improve because there's always something that goes wrong on the event, and we try and fix it for the next one. So we do always seem to improve on the event, and it's been a testament to like the team that involved because we've got such a great team, and they've been with us from the start as well. We've been doing it probably almost 10 years now, and it's the same people that help backstage, and they've got it. They're running like clockwork, and we get people sort of say when we say we're doing a fight show of like 37 fights, that people think we'd be done at like maybe 3 a.m, but we're done at sort of like before 11 o'clock, and that's testament to the team and the way they run it, and also the gyms that we have involved in the show. So we always work with really professional gyms, and they're always really professional and make sure that they're on time and show up to fight, and it's always a brilliant event.
Yeah, fighters speak so highly of the production and the way you look after them as well, and you've always got the best officials, the best everything, and like you say, everyone behind the scenes as well. It does run like clockwork.
Yeah, it's kind of what we're aiming for anyway, because everyone involved in the event really is a fighter. From my career, I'd kind of learned the ways in which I would like to be treated, and the way that I'd like the events to be run, and obviously being a coach as well, seeing the way that some of my amateurs and pros were coming through, were treated by other events. You just wanted to make sure that they were looked after, and that's why we started the show, and it's just gone from strength to strength, and always improving.
Always improving. My favourite show by a mile, and this one is on Saturday the 13th of July. We're back in Charter Hall for this one in Colchester, right?
Yeah. The last event we were at Grays in Essex, which was actually really good. I was a bit dubious at first about doing the event there and going straight from Charter Hall, but Charter Hall wasn't available for the date, so we had to look around Essex, and we found the Grey Civic Hall, and it worked out really well. It was an absolutely packed crowd. With like every single seat in the house was sold, and brilliant atmosphere and some fantastic fights. So really, really good. We'll probably go back there in the future, but for this one, Colchester, back to the Charter Hall, and it's going to be a fantastic event.
And the tables are already sold out for this one, so you need to get your tickets while there's still some remaining. Speak to your favourite fighter, whoever you're going down there to support. Buy through there. Is it Ticket Links, Jack, or is it?
Yeah, so all the fights have got their own ticket link. You normally in their Instagram bio, so you'll be able to access it from there. And if you support them, they get commission. They get to be able to fund their career, and the more support they have, the better it is for them. So show them the support, get down.
And it's always packed out, so don't leave it to the last minute.
Yeah. There's one thing to add. You've got Wimbledon going on, and we've got the Euros. It doesn't clash with any of the England games, so there's no excuse there.
So yeah, we can't be disappointed again. I remember the last time the Euros were on at the same. You put
Yeah,
the game on the screen, and England went out. So guaranteed a good evening. No disappointments this time.
exactly.
Let's crack on with the card because there are so many amazing fights on this card. I first wanted to speak to you about Ben Edwards versus James Hale for the welterweight title. Ben Edwards in his last fight, honestly, that was for me. That was fight of the night against Rob Earls. Like, they really put on such a fantastic display. I was gutted there had to be a loser of that, but for Ben to come out of that with all Rob's experience and to come out of that with a really good victory, I was just blown away by him.
Yeah, like Rob Earls is a veteran and he's tough as they come. He's like
So tough.
yeah, he really come to fight. He was so motivated for the to win that belt, and he really left it all in there. It was I was actually gutted for him that he didn't win, but obviously I was
Yeah.
elated for Ben as well. So
Yeah.
Ben, Ben's a young up and comer, and he works incredibly hard in the gym, but he's just gone from strength to strength in his fights, and he's just maturing into a phenomenal fighter, and he really showed his skills against Rob, and his stand up skills and his wrestling. I just think he's a real prospect, and yeah, I'm really excited to see what he can do against James Hale. James Hale was the Battle Arena champ, so he's obviously fighting another champion. Comes from a good gym,
Yeah.
and I know that he definitely brings it. So Ben's got his work cut out there. James, I've watched some of his fights, and he definitely brings it, and he's got
All his wins are
some
by
very
finish as well, aren't they?
yeah,
Hale. So
got some
yeah.
very strong striking, explosive striking. So yeah, Ben's got to be wary of that.
Yeah, after his last one, Ben is someone that I just can't miss. Whenever he's fighting, I'm going to be watching because that was, just explosive. So yeah, looking forward to seeing him back in there for that one. Then we've got
Yeah,
the flyweight title. Now, this really excites me because Chiabi, I felt like I was so pleased for him winning the title last time because he's had a tough run to get in the belt, hadn't he? Had that weird no contest where all the lights went out in Colchester that time
yeah,
was that against UFS? I think that was against UFS. And
yeah,
then
Fabianos, yeah.
yeah, and then he had a couple of losses after that, and he was just so determined to get his hand on that belt. And then Christian, I love watching Christian Young fight. I think he's so exciting. I think he's just he just really brings something different when he's in there, and he obviously had that setback as well when he was fighting for the belt. So to see both these guys who've had to overcome adversity. Christian got back in there last time and got the rear naked choke finish in the first round, looked really comfortable. I'm
Yep.
just really excited to see these two guys throw down. They both come for the finish every time.
That's it. It's a fantastic fight. It's one that I'm really excited about. Like, both of them have got great stand up, but they're also both brilliant on the ground. So
Yeah.
wherever it goes, they're both attacking on the ground as well. So it's not like they're going to take you down and hold them. They're constantly attacking, throwing up some crazy submissions. So yeah, I'm really excited to see where it goes. And I can't really call that one. I think it's a really evenly matched fight, but I'm just can't wait to watch.
It's another one where I don't want either of them to lose as well. But they're
Yeah.
just, they're and so many of the people on this card I could say this about, but they're they're living as professional fighters when they're still amateurs, like they're doing all of the things that pro fighters do.
Well, this is it. A lot of the guys that they have their amateur fights on some of the other sort of amateur shows, and then as they progress and they start taking things more seriously, then on the Cage Warriors Academy, you do end up fighting sort of the elite guys. So they always want to, they want to be ready before they come onto the event, and that's why we get such a high caliber of fighters that fight in the event. And as you say, like every fight, every fight is really well matched. But the you just being part of the event, being part of the event and seeing these guys grow, you become invested in all of these guys. And when they're facing each other, it's really hard because you don't want either of them to lose. But that's the name of the game, isn't it? So but just have to enjoy it, and especially in the amateurs, all of these fights are there for the experience. So they're all going to be future superstars, I'm sure.
It means so much more to win the belt against real top level competition, than against a can. It means so much more. But also, a lot of these guys that we're going to talk about tonight have got at least one loss. So it just proves that, like, in this sport, I think records, especially at amateur, like I always say it, but it doesn't matter what your record is at amateur. You should be taking the toughest tests and like really trying to push yourself and expose any holes that you've got in your game at amateur level before you turn pro.
That's it. You look at some of the great fighters out there, like Max Holloway, for instance. He's lost a number of fights, but he's grown from it, and he's phenomenal now. And there's just so many examples, but this is all about, especially the amateurs, all about the experience and learning from the experiences you get from the fights, whether you win or lose, and just trying to improve on it every time.
Yeah. 100%. Well, actually, talking of people who live like they are pro fighters, moving on to Mason Kinsella, who's fighting Tom, is it Di Casparo for the featherweight title?
Yeah. So Mason is, he's 5-0 now. He's a top prospect. He trains day in, day out. He's kind of he's a bit of an anomaly, like in terms of his personality. He just gets fighting. It's a crazy thing. He's like a super nice guy, but when it comes to fight night, he's able to switch it on, and he's put some phenomenal performances on. He maybe even better than he looks in the gym, and he always brings it on fight night, and this is a really great fight. So Mason is 5-0, but Tom Di Gasparo's 8-1. So he's definitely got the experience. I know he's got some big power in his hands as well. He's had some top finishes on the academy before, and he comes from a really good team in France. It's gonna be a top fight.
Is it fair to say this is a step up for Mason?
Definitely a step up for Mason. Like his last bout, he fought a very tough Italian, who bought, and Mason was able to get the knockout stoppage in the third round. It was in a very, very tough fight, and it showed Mason's fight IQ really, and against a really tough opponent that wouldn't go away, and Mason was able to find a way to finish him. Tom Di Gasparo's, very, very experienced here, 8-1 for all over Europe, and it's a very tough guy. So I think he's definitely a step up for Mason, but I think he's ready, and I can't wait to see the fight.
Mason, I'm always shocked how young he is, just because of that fight IQ that you spoke of there, and just like how much he really, I suppose gets it, but just like how deeply thinks about fighting, and just it's amazing to me.
He's very much invested into things, and he's definitely a big thinker about all the techniques and what he's doing, and he has got some impressive fight IQ. Some of the one of the best I've seen, to be honest. So yeah, I think he's
So
going to. I think
young.
he's definitely a future prospect.
But I'm hyped for that one. And then equally, I'm saying that, but I'm I'm saying that about every fight because I'm moving on now to Jacob Gifford and Alex Andrews. What a matchup this is, and that's what I mean about top level guys fighting each other on this show. Like this is one for people not to miss, isn't it?
Yeah, so Alex Andrews, I mean, he won the Four Nations, and he's fought in IMF. He's 10-2 now. He's fought on the Cage Academy show a number of times, and he's a really impressive talent. One of my good friends, John McGuire, really rates him. Has been speaking about it for a very long time. He never really rates anyone, right? So he's got to be good. Um, and Jacob Gifford again from GB Top Team. He's a local Essex boy as well. He's another young, impressive talent. And he gets better and better. He's a very experienced Thai boxer, great on the ground, and very interested to see how this fight goes because they're two very good young prospects against each other. So
Yeah,
as I say, either way, whatever happens in this fight, they're both going to get some valuable experience, like some top level competition. So
I know. Props to them
be
both
really
for
interested to see
taking it because they really are
yeah,
both like amazing prospects.
this is generally this is one of the things that impresses me about the guys that fight in the event. You know, they really want to fight. This is why they're fighting the event. They really want to fight the best guys
Yeah.
and test themselves. So can't thank those guys enough. Really, it's definitely what this sport's about.
But you've also made this show into that. People know that they're not going to get an easy matchup. Like I've seen who you like. You're obviously BKK head coach, and none of the BKK guys get an easy matchup. So nobody else
No,
is going to get one either.
well, that's it. It's again is my thought process behind it is just that you're going to get valuable experience from any of these bouts you get on the academy show. So it's there to build these guys up and teach them some valuable lessons as they're doing it. And honestly, there's no point in fighting if you're not going to have a competitive match. It's not. You can't class it as a fight if you know you're going to win.
Yeah.
So that's a fight is a competitive matchup against someone that really wants to win as well. That's the whole point of this thing. So
Yeah.
that's what we try and do.
Yeah, well, this fight I think is a real example of that, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing who comes out on top. And I can't call that one
Yeah,
at all. And I really, really rate both of those guys. Love watching them on your show. Jacob's one last time out was over in the blink of an eye. It seemed a bit
yeah.
controversial at the time, but I've seen the tap since, so
I watched.
that was definitely
We, we,
there.
we had a few complaints about the stoppage on that one, and I watched it back, and the second I watched it back, I was like, "There's absolutely no debate about this." That was a very clinical armbar, and
Yeah, and a tap.
the guy was going to lose it. Yeah, he tapped, and he was going to lose his arm if they hadn't stopped the fight. So
Yeah,
it was the right call.
absolutely the right call. And yeah, just another great finish from Jacob. Um, Next, the 205-pound title, Carl Mullins. We saw him win that belt at 33, I think. CWASE Academy's
Yeah,
33. He looked very impressive. These two guys, I think they've only got finishes between them. I think I'm right in saying.
yeah. This is a fantastic fight. Hans Lockvold's from the Frontline Academy, so he trains with the guys like Jack Homerson and Musa Bahari and those guys. Just they're phenomenal talents as well. The coaching there is fantastic. Hans is a wrestler. He's a Greco wrestler. He's very accomplished in Greco wrestling anyway, so he definitely really wanted to try and take it to the floor, especially with Carl's power. So Carl's got some incredible power, and I think this is really a striker versus grappler match, and excited to see who can pull off their game plan.
That's it. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. I was sorry that Carl wasn't on the last show, so good to see
Yeah,
him back on this one and ready to defend that belt. And of course,
yeah.
I wanted to speak to you about Josh and Waldy as well. The pro fight on the card. Is this the only pro fight this time?
It's the only pro fight on the card. I was trying to get Charlie Falco a match, but I just could not find another strawweight in Europe that could make the day. So this is the only pro fight on the card. Josh is coming off a fight on Cage Warriors. He's really wants to prove a point here. He's going to looking to defend his belt, and he's got a really tough fight ahead of him against LA Johnson, and that's going to be It's again, both of these guys are phenomenal grapplers and wrestlers. That's going to be and I know they can both strike as well. So it's going to be a really exciting match, and very excited to see who takes it home.
This is the right weight for Josh, isn't it? So I know that we talked about him coming off that loss on Cage Warriors that was at 170 pounds. Like, I feel like he's just slightly too small for 170, but that cut to 155 would be absolutely brutal.
Yeah, I mean, so Josh can definitely make 155, but as you say, it's a tough cut, and 165 pounds is just probably just bang on for him. It's an ideal weight. It's great that they've sort of created these new divisions now. If I was fighting, I would love to have fought around the 80 kilo mark. The 175 pounds. That was ideal for me, because 170 pound was too much really, and 185 the guys were just too big.
Yeah.
So I think it's a similar situation here. 165 is really a sweet spot for him. So excited to see what he can do, and really great bout. He's headlining the Direct Sport, which is a broadcast channel in Norway. He's headlining that card. So we've got Team Norway versus everyone, the rest of Europe. So Josh and Ole are headlining that card. It's going to be great.
Who's co-main of that card?
That's Hans versus Carl.
Amazing. And so who is headlining the other card? Because the way it works is there's two cards that go on during the night. The one that's broadcast in Norway, and then the one that's just for the people in Colchester.
That's it. So 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. is the Norwegian card. So that's it's broadcast in Norway. So we have 16 fights. One side is all Norwegian versus some of the best guys in Europe, and then from 7 p.m. we've got the main card basically. It's gonna be great.
And who's headlining the main card?
Mason Kinsella versus Tom Di Gasparo.
Wicked. So I feel like I've left out some amazing fights here. So I'm just going to talk about some others that you got on the card that I would have liked to do a full debrief on, but I wasn't sure how much time we'd have. The heavyweight title fight, that looks a really good one between Daryl John and Norbert Peetrak.
Yeah.
Butchered his name there, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Peetrak, I think something like that. But so Norbert's the champ. He's trains at gym Procore in Scotland, and he's fighting Daryl John from GB Top Team. So I know how good Norbert is. He's a phenomenal wrestler, phenomenal striker. Daryl John, obviously from one of the best teams in the UK.
Yeah.
And Brad has said he's training really hard, so it's going to be. I'm sure it's going to be a phenomenal fight. With the heavyweights, that there's always a chance of a big knockout as well. So really excited to watch that fight.
That's going to be a really good one. And then the 155-pound title fight, Cleddy Disher. He's been getting a lot of props recently. 6-1, I think, at the moment. 4 of those are KO. He's got 3 AMI titles already. Against Shak Mutalimov.
Yeah, that's it. So Cleddy, as you say, he's got a lot of hype behind him now. He's got a lot of people saying he's the next big thing. So very excited to have him on the event. It's the first time he was going to fight, I think, on the previous event, but something happened, and he's great that we've managed to secure him for this. So he's fighting Shaq from London Fight Factory, whose coach, really rates him. He's even though he's only 2-0, he's very experienced in other combat sports. So he shouldn't be fooled by his record. He's another phenomenal talent, and it's gonna be a really exciting fight. I think this real sleeper fight, to be honest.
I'm really looking forward to that one. And then we've got the 135-pound title between Rackman and Darnell Jackson. That looks like a good one as well. I mean,
this is like both of these. That's it. Both of these guys are, experiencing professional K1.
Yeah.
And again, I expect this to be a stand-up war on this one, and see who can take it there. You might end up seeing people. Someone might have a surprise takedown there, but I fully expect it to be a phenomenal kickboxing fight.
Yeah, they're highly decorated. They've got a lot of titles between them already, so that I think is going to be a really exciting one.
Yeah.
And then the 185-pound title fight between Jake Smythe and Moore.
Yeah. So
I don't know much about these two, so sorry, go on, tell me.
So Harvey he's fought the event. He's 5-0. He's from one of my old teammate, Chris Ellington. He didn't have many MMA fights, but he's probably one of the best grapplers I've ever trained with. He's phenomenal. But he runs the Avalon MMA gym up in Wiz Beach, and like Alex Andrews, he's Harvey Moore is a phenomenal talent. He's phenomenal now. He's fought some of the regional shows. He's fought on our event. He's very, very good. He's fighting Jake Smythe from KO Combat Academy, who again he's fought on the event before. Very, very good fighter. He's been fighting up and down the country actually on various events and doing really well. So very, very good fight there. Again, can't call it, but I'm very excited to watch it.
Very, very excited. And then I've always got to shout out the BKK guys. So we've got Ethan Barry is fighting at 175 pounds again. I'm looking forward to seeing him back in action.
Yeah, he's fighting Jovan from GB Top Team as well. So again, Jovan is always going to be well trained. He's he's fought the event before. He's a very tough customer. So we'll see how that goes. But both two guys I know that are really hungry to get that win. And I've seen Ethan clearly he's in my gym, and he's working really hard, and he's made a lot of improvements. So I'm very excited to see what he can do. He always comes to fight. He's a very tough man as well, and I think it'll be a phenomenal one.
The nicest guy ever outside of the cage. It's true of a lot of these people, but he's just such a sweetheart. And then, then he goes for it when he's in there. And Mitchell Thorpe, he had a great debut last time, didn't he?
Yeah. So Mitchell's signed to Karate Combat, so he's you know, when he's not competing on our event, he's fighting all over the world for Karate Combat, and he's doing phenomenal in that. He needs to get some experience because he's still very young.
Yeah.
He's the guys at Karate Combat are offering him are, you know, some of these guys have had like 100 Thai boxing fights, and Mitchell's had a couple of fights, you know,
Yeah.
and I think his future's in MMA, but he's a really good karate athlete, and I'm excited to see how his ground game has come on, how his sort of wrestling and anti-wrestling's come on, and he's fighting a very good guy from Frontline Muay Thai. They're both 1-0 at the moment, these two, and we'll be very excited to see how things go, because I really rate Mitchell. I think he's a top talent. But you know, these guys from Frontline, they're very well trained, and they always come to fight. So it's going to be a cracker, I think.
Yeah, there absolutely are no easy fights. Who have I missed out? I feel like we could have talked about, oh, Cameron Stewart I wanted to talk about as well. He's
Yeah,
the lightweight champ, but
so
he's fighting for the
that's it.
welterweight belt.
Yeah, so Cameron's I think he's definitely going to go pro next. I think he's our next star that's going to move up to the Cage Warriors event.
He's looked
He wants to
phenomenal the
keep
last
busy.
few outings, hasn't
Yeah,
he?
he just these guys from TSG, their coach, Daniel Bazota. I know I've known Dan for a long time, and I know he trains these guys very, very hard, very old school as well. And these guys, they train extremely hard, and they just get better and better. So Cameron's been looking phenomenal in all of his last fights, but he's fighting this time. He's fighting at welterweight. He wants to test himself there before he goes pro, and he's fighting Serko Shamanov, who is sounds like a Russian wrestler, but he's actually a Russian boxer. He's he's a very tough man, but he's a great boxer. And yeah, we were very excited to see what Cameron does there.
I guess Cameron wants to be a double champ like his teammate Tommy Brunnin before he goes off to
Absolutely,
fight pro.
that's
That
it.
champ status
He's got a
is
tough test in
popular.
front of him. Yeah, yeah. He's I really rate Cameron. Regardless of the outcome of this fight, he's going to go pro at lightweight on Cage Warriors. But he's getting this experience in, and he's got a tough test in Serko Shamanov, but excited to see what he can do.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not a huge 155 pounder, so I'm interested to see him at 170 as well.
He's adamant, adamant he wants to fight for the welterweight belt. So
fair enough.
Fair
enough. Yeah. So actually, while we're talking about him going on to Cage Warriors, it's a good time to talk about all the alumni that you've got on the Cage Warriors London card a week after the Cage Warriors Academy show, because it just proves that this academy into Cage Warriors really does work, because you've got Tommy Brunnin on that card. He was the double Cage Warriors Academy champ before he went to Cage Warriors, had a successful outing in his pro debut. He's back on this card. Jimmy Quinn, who was bantamweight champ, was he? Bantamweight champ. He's back fighting on Cage Warriors London. He's obviously been over in San Diego training and all sorts since he turned pro. And Craig, obviously my favourite fight on the London card, Craig Edwards. So it's proof that testing yourself on this show is a great way to get your foot in the door with Cage Warriors.
Well, that's it. The way we've seen it work is that, as explained before, these guys will when they'll start and they'll fight on some of the other sort of regional events, and sort of cut their cloth there, and then once they're ready, then they'll ask to compete on the Cage Warrior Academy show, where we match, probably match them much tougher, but they get these competitive fights which you're going to learn from. And as they're learning, when they're learning and they're getting the confidence from fighting tough competition and doing well, and then what it does is sets them up for a great pro career. So they know what to expect. They've already fought some of the toughest guys out there, and it gets them ready to go pro. And this is what we've seen with Jimmy Quinn. He fought who's who at bantamweight. Likewise with Tommy Brunning, he fought everyone that's put in front of him, and it's phenomenal doing it. And then they've gone up and done it at pro on the big show at Cage Warrior. So can't wait to see it. It's going to be a really good event on the 20th. And there's going to be more, as we've already spoken, about Cameron Stewart, but there's going to be more and more talent from our event going up to the Cage Warrior show once they're ready.
That's what I love, seeing those people from like their first amateur fights come all the way through the academy, and get from watching some of their fights there. I knew watching Jimmy Quinn, like, we were seeing something special. I knew watching Tommy that we were seeing something special, and you knew that they were what they were going to be capable of. And now here they are doing it on the next show, and they should go all the way through and win the Cage Warriors belt and go on to the UFC like Arnold and be fighting in the UFC and Corey.
Well, that's the pathway, isn't it? That's the plan. And there's lots of factors involved in it, and sometimes life gets in the way of a lot of things. But when these guys, if they're really determined and focused, they can go and achieve anything they want to achieve. The pathway's there now, so it's up to them.
100%. Who have I left out, or what have I left out before we sign off, Jack? Anything else you wanted to tell people?
Honestly, we could talk.
I know.
We could talk hours about each of these fights, because I just can't wait to see it happen. But there's one big fight which we haven't talked about, and that's Nathan Lambert from BST versus Awali Tandia. So these guys, they're fighting for the European welterweight title. Nathan Lambert, 9-3 from top gym BST. Some great fights that come out of there. And Awali Tandia, he's 16-2 now from France. He's fighting and winning on every event around Europe, winning all of the welterweight amateur titles. He was desperate to fight on the Cage Warrior Academy event, desperate to fight for the title. Nathan Lambert was also really pushing to get on the event. We've managed to make this fight. These are two of the top guys in Europe. Phenomenal fight. I can't wait to see who takes that one.
Oh, there's so many good fights. I feel like we've definitely. I'm sorry to any fighters watching if we've left out your fight, because we really could talk about all of them. It's just that's what I love about it as well. There's so many fights on this card, or on these cards all the time, but it is packed with ones you don't want to miss from top to bottom. I find it so hard to even run to the loo.
Honestly, every event, I'm excited about the event. This feels like probably our best card. Just the fights we've managed to make on this one. It's just I'm really excited to see how it all plays out. But it's really, really good card. I'm very excited.
I feel like it's a really, really good card as well. I'm so excited to be back there. Always feels like ages in between shows for me. I'm sure it doesn't for you. I'm sure it feels like you can't believe that you're back in another fight week.
It takes about 3 months to prepare the show.
So you're never really out.
You're never really out, because it's just one every quarter. So as soon as you're done with one, you got to start matchmaking the next one, and it's non-stop. But it's definitely my passion. I definitely, I love to see, provide this platform for the especially the young guys that really are really working hard for it. That's the sort of the payback really, is that you get to see these guys, Jimmy Quinn, like Tommy Bronny, just examples, right? But you get to go and see them go out and achieve their dreams, and that's why we do it.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose for the show.
Well, this show gave them the platform, to show off their talent and get spotted and move on. So that's why I love it. And Chanel Dyer doing amazing in PFL. Like, she was obviously on the show loads, and Ivana Siric, who we had on the show and was champion. Like, all these people, just this show was pivotal in their career. So yeah, it can't be underrated.
Gary fought on the show once. There's we've had some of the best guys in the world that fought in the event and gone on to do amazing things. So yeah, it's the place to be. You got to cut your cloth and test your metal really against the best guys out there, and something you can do you good in your career.
100%. So Saturday, July 13th, will there be tickets on the door, or is it only if it's not sold out?
It depends. We've still got a few grandstand seats remaining, so the last few shows have been complete sellout. So I expect the same thing this one.
Yeah.
And so if we're going to be doing a pay-per-view as well, so if you aren't able to get tickets, and you'll be able to watch the pay-per-view, but always better to be there live. So and as I
100%.
say, it's always better to support the fighters, because they earn money out of the
Yeah.
it, and then what it does is it gives them money to fund their training, and continue to improve and make a career out of it, and put the best fights on for the fans. So it's a win-win situation. I'd get down there. The atmosphere is fantastic, and you come and experience the event.
You can say you saw these guys right at the beginning. You can say you were supporting them right from the start, and you can be supporting them by buying through their ticket link. So buy the tickets for Colchester, Charter Hall, Saturday the 13th. Any final words from
And
you, Jack?
every single one of these fighters fights their heart out, not
Yeah.
like these fucking footballers.
Oh my God, it's been woeful, hasn't it? I'm really glad there's no England game on that night.
Yeah.
We don't need to put a
That's what
dampener on it.
infuriates me about. It's just that those guys get paid so much money, and these MMA fighters, they get paid nothing, and
Yeah.
they put their parts on the line, and that's what you want from the footballers,
I know. Well, the thing that really amazes me is they roll round on the floor pretending that they're injured, and then you see people with their face hanging off in the cage pretending that they're not injured and they're fine to carry on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, 100%. These people deserve your support. Get down there. If you can't be there for whatever
Absolutely.
reason, if you're on holiday, buy the ticket link. Support, support, support. This is when people need you the most. And Jack, you were saying earlier, it's hard for shows to break even at best. So like, if you don't want to lose these shows, you've got to keep supporting them.
That's it, 100%.
Excellent. Great. Well, thank you so much. I really look forward to seeing you down there on the night. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be 10 days now, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
It's gonna be great.
amazing. Thanks so much for your time. And
Yeah, thanks a
yeah,
lot for having me.
brilliant. I'm sure we've missed people. I'm really sorry if we have. You didn't deserve to be missed out, but we only had so much time. And I'll be there on the night as well to with my little microphone to catch any winners. So I'll speak to you there. Thanks so much, Jack.
Thanks.